Hello everybody and welcome back to the Realistic Formula Championship. We're back after the season break for round 8 here at Silverstone Circuit, the birthplace of Formula 1. One of the quickest circuits on the calendar and one that is certainly going to hopefully host some pretty good racing today. As we've seen in the past, this was last season, round 5, many battles going into Stowe. Statlev would go on to win that race in his debut in Red Bull, and Malachi would inevitably go on to win that championship and finish second in that race from the very back of the grid. What's going to happen today? Compounds here, C4, C3 and C2. It's slightly softer than in the past at Silverstone, so we might be expecting some punctures, which we already did see yesterday. But now we're going to get into the actual session, but I'm just going to hope that everyone's name works, but I'm going to guarantee that there's going to be someone's name that doesn't work. But that's what we're here for, and well, let's have a little look then. So just try to juggle the buttons, and well, I'll just actually quickly open the chat just in case someone is messaging. And then we'll get into the session, but I hope that the name's going to work. But every time someone's name has hyphens or brackets, then yeah, that seems to break everything. What it means is I have to copy and paste their name and put it in. It's not the end of the world, it just takes ages. So, okay. There we go. And now we at the moment of truth. And oh my goodness, I think everything is working. Apart from Ollie XD. I'm pretty sure we have a grid of people with the right settings. So that is absolutely incredible. I'll just fix Ollie XD really quickly, because otherwise that's going to trigger me the rest of the race. And then we'll be ready to go. I mean, it's not like we're missing too much, just a couple out laps at the moment. And yeah, pretty, yeah, let's just try to find the thing I need to copy. I think he's position 3, so position 3. Ollie XD. I think it's just he gave it to me with a capital letter and it's not actually got a capital letter. That's not the end of the world. Oh, looks like a Williams is off track there at the Vale chicane. Yep, yeah, I think it's literally just the capitalization of that. That should be fixed. And now, here we go. Just check the names. Everything looks good. Actually, I need to start recording, because if we want highlights, even if they come out about however much late, then yeah. Well, shame we have that F125 in the corner, but until I actually can, until I get the right thing to show a penalty, it's not going to work. And I can show the timer, but it's not going to be great yet because no one's actually set a lap and I've not developed it enough to, it's just going to say like, there we go, see, plus 63. It'll fix when someone's done a lap. But here we go with Donut into Stowe, turn 15, down to Vale. And now getting on that power Sauber car. Had a great performance in Spa. Toincoin has seemingly left the session there. So I don't know exactly what's going on with him. Little Speed crosses the line to go into 4th as Mills there goes quickest in the McLaren. And then we have OS 10 here. Wait, did he give me so much going on that I did ask him if he had preferred thing with letters. Sun, right? Hang on. Because otherwise it's just going to take the first 3 letters of his name. Almost. Sun. Okay. Okay. Scenario 7. Going quickest meanwhile. Ghosts across the line. And Ghost is in 10th place. And now we look to potentially... Pablo's coming in. He's coming in pits. Andre's potentially actually on a decent lap here. He's actually pushing on. Backed out of the previous one. He might have been the Williams we saw going the wrong way before, when I was just trying to set up some of the settings, but here we go. Into here. And he's going to pick up a lovely slipstream here, actually. From Magnus something. What is his name? Magnushal. And Tarantino now crosses the line. And he goes into 10th place. Here we are with Hugo, who's just rounding Vale and into Club. Onto the Hamilton straight, crosses the line. 17th place at the moment. Currently out as it stands, but obviously still quite early on here. And I don't think anyone's actually pushing on at the moment, so we'll just have a little look and little early look at the lap times. I mean, can't really judge yet, but it seems like Magnus Schall there needs an improved lap in the McLaren for sure. And then, yeah, he really does need an improved lap. I think Miguel actually, he had a green sector, but he was just pushing on his in lap, I think. And now we will have a little look at Harley, who's just beginning a lap. Harley into Abbey and down to Village. Important to open up the loop. And into Aintree. Onto the Wellington Straight. And now down to Brooklands. And there we go, about 4/10 down on scenario 7 in that first sector. But, I mean, obviously the difference between the Racing Bulls and the Red Bull, although in real life you don't really see that so much. Obviously in the game, it's quite a pronounced difference between the cars, and Harley now into Muggets and Beckett's. And now Chapel. Gordon's get a good exit. He runs a bit wide. It doesn't invalidate, but it's not great. And now he's a second down through that middle sector split. And now it is Stowe. And into the Vale chicane. And he gets on the power now to go through Club. Flat to the line for Harley. And he goes into 15th place and is out of the drop zone as it stands at the moment. Magnushal's out there on an outlap. Coy is not on a lap. What about Pablos? I think is on a lap here. And he's just going through Chapel, down the Hanger Straight for the Alpine team, who have scored pretty well so far this season. I mean, Miami, they had an incredible double podium, and well, they'll be looking to get back up to those heights, but no drop hooks. Of course, Pablos just stepping in at literally the last minute. And now through Club here, across the line, 16th place. So in the elimination zone as it stands. And now I think Mythos Speed just going here. Oh, getting a bit onto the gravel there. And he's invalidated his lap, actually. So that is not ideal at all. Now we'll see Magnashal, who's... See the streak of dirt there just being left into Copse. Keeps it flat, of course. The McLaren, more than capable of that. I mean, I'm pretty sure every car should be, just about. You've got the right setup, of course, that is. Over the curves. And now, a little bit of understeer kicking in as well, like Harley did before. He's improving, but it's not on the pace of his teammate, or really front-running cars, because he'll probably be in the top 10, you'd think, if he keeps this going, but it's not what you want. And now, here we go, getting on the power up to the line. And it is 9th place for the McLaren, who's seems to be weaving across there as Coyd now crosses the line. It's 8th place for Coyd. Hugo just starting a lap. Wilkinson just moved up to 4th. And then we have Toyncoin, who's just going to start a lap. I think his name's Tan or something. I don't know. Then we have the Red Bull pitting there of OS 10. Harris now in the Ferrari, the championship leader, looking to extend his championship lead with Bryn Evans not racing today. And Harris crosses the line. It's a better lap for him into 4th. Still not quite maybe exactly where he wants to be. Senor Ghost crosses the line. And Senor Ghost is in 8th position. As Danny there just crossed the line to go into 2nd. He sets a purple final sector as well on his way. And now we have Andre, who's just going into the Vale chicane now. The Williams looking to move himself out of trouble. That's a lot of curb. And that must have lost him time. He seems to be squirreling up to the line. And it's 13th only. He barely improves his time. Let's actually just check the weather here, because I did look at the clouds then and it was looking pretty ominous. And, well, there we go. We do have some rain potentially in the vicinity of the circuit, and drivers really do need to get their laps in, because even though that says 10 minutes, it's mainly just based on the percentage of rain, the icons that come up, so it will start slightly before. Here we go with Tan's 11th place for his first lap of the day, as I think Ollie there just crossed the line. 11th place for him. Harris making his way back into the pit lane. And just looking at the sector times, I think Amiri just going on to the hangar straight now is the next one. And he's a second down on F1 scenario, currently in the drop zone, with just 5.5 minutes to go in this Q1 session. And now down into the Vale chicane, over the curb, get the run to the line. Back in RFC, crosses the line, still in the elimination zone. So he still needs another lap. And now, yeah, I mean, I can see that it was going to rain. We have the weather forecast, and it is going to rain. Q2 and Q3, that is going to be wet. Yeah. So, well, trying to see if anyone's actually on a lap again, because I think Amiri, Donut's on an out lap. Mythos should be there. There we go. Mythos is improving, and he needs to. Haas driver who finished 2nd in Japan, of course, in the Ferrari, if you remember, completing a 1-2, their first victory in numerous seasons. And, well, talking of Ferraris, there's Rio Harris retiring from the session. Mythos at Copse Corner spins. Just getting onto the curb there, I think, hitting the curb a bit awkwardly, and it spun him around. And now Mythos Speed with 3 minutes and 50 seconds to go. Those tyres are probably cooked now. Whoa, what is happening? His tyre temperature has skyrocketed. And now Beckett's there. He is off. Yeah, that was critical. Is it? Those were critical corners for his Q1 lap. Oh, and I mean, no one even dived up the inside there. All right, here we go. This now is OS 10, who's making his way down the hangar straight. Slightly earlier lap maybe than some, and just looking to get himself secure. 2 green sectors, always what you want to see, pushing it right out to the track limits. No, that was right to the limit there. And now the Red Bull wanting to secure a place in Q2. And there we go, it's 6th place. That should be good enough. You would like to think that that should be good enough, but don't know. But let's now jump looking at Donut here, who I don't think he's made a mistake of some sort in that first sector, because he's 1.4 seconds down, so he might have just backed off. He's going to probably go again. Has he got enough fuel? 2.5 is what the readout I'm being given. Let me just check. I think that is 2.5 kilograms. And looking at Hugo here, he's going to have to just lift and coast his way through. He might actually give a nice tow here to Hugo. And Hugo's going to need it. Every millisecond is going to count here. And Hugo now, as there we go, Donut pulls to one side. Hugo on to those inside curves. Slightly washes wide. And into Vale. Trying to apply the power. Trying to get every last bit of lap time. It's 19th only for Hugo, who will now maybe restore the favour to Donut, but Donut has pitted. That could be danger for Donut. Jarvis Coyd looks like he's not improving on this lap, so I don't know if he's going to go again. I don't know if he's got enough to go again. I don't think he is going to be able to improve. He should be in a decent position anyway, though, you'd think. And now we will go to Pablos, who's invalidated his lap. So Pablos will not be making the second part of qualifying here, as he's going to cross the line. He's 1.4 seconds down. It would have been good enough, I think, to be ahead of Donut there. But in the end, it's nothing. Coin just getting ready to start his lap. As Amiri also getting ready to start a lap. Mythos Speed is not improving. He's in last position. Has he got enough to start a lap? And then it's going to be Andre Tarantino here. Rounding Stowe, looks a little bit wide. The Alpine there retires. Pablos, I think. So he will not. Yeah, he's finished, as we saw already. And Tarantino now crosses the line, improves by 1 position. Magnuschal potentially under threat here, as he's going to cross the line. He goes into 10th and is safe, as I believe the Racing Bulls, somebody definitely crossed the line ahead. That was Harley, I think. Harley, I think, did move up position. Donut now eliminated. Amiri, what is happening to him? What's happening to Mythos Speed? Amiri has found time in the first sector, and this is crucial now, because Amiri needs a lap here, or it's going to be him being eliminated in Q1. Harley on the bubble, and Harley has finished for this qualifying session. We have Tans there up ahead, I believe, who is doing an improved lap in the Racing Bulls. He's increments down, I think. The rain is falling now at Silverstone, so Amiri, I think this is going to come to nothing, and Haas might be facing... Oh, and he goes into the gravel there, and that is it. Mythos Speed is also off there once again, as the Williams as well of Andre spins there into the gravel. And that is it for the first part of qualifying then. And we have Donut, Amiri, Pablos, Hugo, and Mythos Speed being eliminated. F1 Scenario 7 has topped this session. And there we go. I might actually open the thing that lets me do the screenshot thing so Simon doesn't get angry. But there we go. There we go. It is. There were DRS disabled, rain falling, and those who needed laps at the end were unable to get them in. No, Eagle probably wants Simon to... right, let's just see if this might work now. If I... let's do that. It might... Let's just see if that worked. I don't think it did. Oh, no, it did. There we go. It did work. Yay! We have an update. Okay. Anyway. Second part of qualifying on the way pretty soon. Those are the lap times that were set. No big surprises, really. I mean, the Haas cars you would expect to be quicker, but, you know, the performance is quite similar and it's track dependent as well, so it's not too much of a surprise to me anyway. Anyway, we'll be back for the second part of qualifying. Okay then, welcome back to qualifying at Silverstone for round 8 of RFC. And well then, look at this rain. We have the wet weather has properly arrived for Q2, intermediate tyres going on. And let's see what these drivers are made of, because we've not had too many wet sessions. We had the wet sprint qualifying in Spa, but that's basically it for this season. We had the wet race at Sao Paulo last season as well, but not had wet running all that much in RFC. And well, the rain doesn't... It looks like it's maybe easing off a bit towards the end, but I mean, look at those percentages. 82, 80, 77, 75. It's not that much of a difference, really. So, anyway, let's just see. Everyone's immediately going out there. I'd be fueling for the session, probably. I think people are fueling for the session, so that's sensible. Or from what I'm seeing, some people have about 10.8 kilograms. Somebody there, Ollie there has 4.8 kilograms. That's for a couple of laps, I think. So, differing strategies, but you've got to build up confidence in these conditions, and well, that's what they're going to be doing on this outlap, I guess. And let's see. So, all 15 drivers immediately out, and well, we're going to see cars on the limit now. Of course, nobody knew what setup to really go for, because I don't know exactly what the race is going to be, but there would have been a compromise, I'm sure, between setups. But if it's going to dry up in Q3, as Rio has said in the chat earlier, then it's not going to, you know, you don't want to be, putting a wet setup for literally nothing. Anyway, let's see then. Tarantino. He's the first one on the lap. First one in these conditions. Squirreling his way around the final corner. Down to Abbey. The Aston Martin Miguel in the background also doing similar. So these are tricky conditions. And this is where the drivers can get so crucial. If you can dance the car. Drifting's not necessarily a bad thing in this game. I mean, it's going to destroy your tyres, but it's not a bad thing to get the ultimate lap time in the wet. And, well then, here we go, Tarantino. We'll get the sector times come in. Obviously, that's a 000 because I've not set up properly for... Yeah, if drivers have not done laps. So, I mean, we may as well just get rid of that. It's not like it's going to give us much information. And I'll get the sector times up. So, we have Tarantino 31.6, Harris 31.2, Scenario 7 30.9, Zvart 31.1, Mills 31.1, Miguel 31.2. So quite similar. Harley there popping in a 31.9. Magnushal 33.2. So that's miles off the pace through the first sector. And now Tarantino, you can see him struggling to get the car to grip into Chapel. And now running down to Stowe. The rain continuing to fall. And here we go. Oh, bit of a correction there, and he kills his momentum. And he's surely... Yeah, this lap is definitely not going to be his best. Rapid improvement expected. And Tarantino now to get to the line. He's really struggling there. And he's crossed the line. And he's gone quickest there, but he's not. Something is going on with the... Something's going on there with the numbers. Is anybody actually setting laps, or is... Something's going on with the numbers. Lovely. We don't have numbers. Great. So, well, you can work out where they are. Oh no. And Tarantino there. Something is happening, I think. It's not actually... Yeah, that is strange, because nothing is actually receiving numbers, so... Don't know if I restart. This is going to kind of be a bit of a pain, but... Why does this have to break? Just, this is going to break everything, but... Okay. Okay, numbers are back. There we go, at least I know what to do to fix it. And then we will... Yeah, okay. Apologies about that. No idea what happened. The F1 game going funny again with its telemetry output, as it normally does. Okay. Anyway, who are we watching? Scenario 7. Can you do consecutive laps? Probably not. So, yeah. Right. Wilkinson, across the line. It's third place for Wilkinson. Yeah, Wilkinson there. And then we have Marshall getting into the last sector. He's invalidated, struggling in these conditions. Quite a lot, as you can see. Dylan here is not actually on a lap. Marshall. And then we have now a few drivers. Let's have a little look at Mills, because he's got the fastest first sector. And yeah, he is looking to push on his McLaren debut, driving that chrome McLaren that they did run at Silverstone, of course, in real life. Maggots and Beckett's, that is pretty quick, it seems. A lot of speed he's carrying in, trying to make the car live with it. Now he's on the power, but he is down on F1 Scenario 7, who seems to have had great pace so far. Dylan there, setting the fastest first sector. Got a couple of cars ahead here, Miguel, and also the Williams of Tarantino. Miguel pits, Tarantino carries on. And Mills rear locks into Vale. He saves it, but that's going to have cost him time, and he runs wide as well. I don't think Mills is going to be improving. Danny Zvart in the background, I think, is just running up to the line. And there we go. It's going to be Harris across the line. It's third place for Harris. And then it's going to be Harley. Harley has found a decent bit of time on this lap. And Harley crosses the line, but he's not out of the bottom 5 at the moment. Senor Ghosts, he's got front wing damage, so he's just living with it, it seems. Front wing damage on Senor Ghosts. And here we go, across the line. He does improve, but he's not, he's not there in terms of lap time. Magna is invalidated again there. Is not great at all. And yeah, there we go. So Dylan, that purple sector was actually on his in lap, and then he decided to, he was pushing on his in lap. I think that was the reason for that purple sector. Tarantino is on a cleaner lap, I would say, so far. Let's see what the sector times are. 8/10 down, scenario 7. That looks like a, if he can keep this going, he can go into at least 7th, get himself a little bit closer to safety in this session. Mills there, setting the fastest sector. I think that's old. I think that's old. But anyway, Mills is literally just rounding last few corners now. Tarantino goes into 7th. Mills is just starting his lap, so no idea what that thing was about. Let's see, Coyd invalidated. And then we have Magna Schal, who's not invalidated on this lap, but again, it's squirreling. It's onto the grass. He has to save it going onto the straight. That's going to cost him time all the way down the Hanger Straight into Stowe. No lap time on the board. As of yet, tries to swing it in, then just goes full throttle. That's never going to work in these conditions. The car just can't quite live with it. He's going to be destroying the rear tyres. He locks up, trying to throw the car all over the place here. He's just going full throttle everywhere. And now he's going to round that final corner, again drifting it across the line, and somehow he's got that car into 7th. That shows the power of the McLaren. You can be all over the road and you're still in with a decent lap. Well, decent to be in the top 10. I mean, obviously he's 8/10 off scenario 7's time. The wet weather bringing out more of the drivers as well than the dry wood. Danny into Cops becomes more of a corner in the wet weather, and that's what we want to see. Drivers having the commitment to throw it in. And there we go, Danny trying to hook it up. And there we go, waiting on the power smoothly down the Hanger Straight, increments down on scenario 7. I don't think I've seen the lap timer go like that. It's been quicker in any sector yet, because scenario 7's just been always top. No one's been able to quite beat his sector times. And Danny there goes into the pits, so maybe is he running out of fuel? 1.2 kilograms, he must be running out of fuel. Anyway, let's just quickly have a little scan. Coyd now, I think, on his way. We'll have a little look at scenario 7 as well after Coyd finishes his lap, because scenario 7 going quickly again, finding over 2/10 in the first sector as Coyd trying to get the car home across the line, and he does get into the top 10, so better from him. And now we do see scenario 7. It looks like Wilkinson there. Yeah, Wilkinson was the man who just crossed the first sector split, so drivers going quicker now, getting used to these conditions. Scenario 7 to the end of the middle sector, now onto the Hanger Straight. He's a second up on his previous middle sector split. There's another fastest first sector. This time is Dylan, and scenario 7 on his way to put a bit of daylight between him and the rest of the field. But obviously there's still laps going on that is going to get closer. But there we go. This is what we want to see. Competitive drivers swapping purple sectors. His F1 scenario 7 crosses the line. He goes 2.1 seconds quicker there than Dylan. And now we will have a little look at Wilkinson, because Wilkinson, 2 green sectors. Purple sector got taken away by his teammate. And now into Vale Chicane. And let's see as he's going to cross the line. And it's P2, a second off. But yeah, P2's not bad at all for the race winner from Spa. Managed to get that win by about a tenth of a second after the penalty was applied to Ilias, and Dylan crosses the line and he's about 3/10 off F1 scenario 7. So not bad for him either. Now, I think here we go with OS 10 in the sister Red Bull, looking to get a competitive lap on the board. We have a minute and 40, just over a minute and 40 to go in Q2. And there we go. Whoa! Cops almost claimed another driver there, but OS 10 manages to just about catch it. And cutting a lot of the curb there, and he has invalidated his laps. He's going to have to back off as he got fuel to go again. You think he just about does, to be fair, so fair enough. And now we actually see Ghosts, he's invalidated. Coid, valid. Andre Tarantino starting his last lap. Seems like we're watching Tarantino all the time. He's just on the track at the right time when no one else is there. That's his sector times so far. And now Tarantino down. Now you can see that dry line, certainly, down the Wellington Straight. There's a bit of a car park in the last sector. Yellow flags deployed, and the track is definitely ramping up now because Tarantino is going a lot quicker than F1 scenario 7 by quite a lot. And now we will see him into Cops. And smoothly done. Purple sector is going to be flying in from many drivers now, you'd like to think. Tarantino's had that sector taken away. These laps are going to be critical. You need a lap here. Scenario 7 might be in trouble, you know, because Tarantino is a second up on his lap, and if Tarantino can be doing that in the Williams, then, you know, you'd think a lot of the grid will be up there, and everyone is out there. Coid hasn't made the line, I don't think. He didn't make the line. He wasn't on a push lap. Tarantino into the Vale chicane. Just keep it tight and clean. And he should go quickest here in the Williams. And F1 Scenario 7's looking nervously over his shoulder because Tarantino has gone to the top of the times. But here is the Racing Bulls, who has invalidated. Invalidations might save him here because already Coid and Tan's there, not able to get a lap on the board. If they had a clean lap, you'd think they'd be able to get up there. Harley, it's 4th place. I think he might just be alright. Mills goes quickest. And then it's going to be Danny here. Danny across the line. It's 2nd place for Danny. And then it's going to be Ollie here. Ollie crosses the line. It's 4th place for him. Scenario 7 is tumbling down here as OS 10 just gets out of the bottom 5. Magnuschau gets out of the bottom 5. Wilkinson's gone 2nd quickest. The championship leader, Rio Harris, 3rd place for him. Ghosts now to get out of the bottom 5. Dylan also behind, needs a lap. Ghost can't get out. Dylan can. It's 2nd place for Dylan. It's Harley, Ghosts, OS 10, Jarvis Coid, and Tans who are eliminated in the 2nd part of qualifying. F1 Scenario survives there. Scenario 7 survives in 9th place. He played the risky game and it just about paid off. But that could have clearly gone wrong if Udars had just got a cleaner lap on the board. Magnuschau also just about surviving into the top 10. But that is it for the 2nd part of qualifying. Now it's going to be time for Q3 and to see what the weather conditions are doing. It's certainly drying out. Well, welcome back to qualifying then. Q3 time. Had to go and get myself some water then, because there's a lot going on in these wet conditions. And well, the rain is persisting for Q3. I can see that is certainly what's happening. So everyone out there on the inters, some on the used tyres for Rio Harris, potentially F1 Scenario 7, and also Alex Mills there in McLaren. So, well, interesting. Let's see Dylan first, I guess, because he's the first one out there, and he's been pretty close to the pace of F1 Scenario 7 so far. Dry line appearing, it is on the way, but it's not stopping the rain. The rain is going to continue to fall, even if that line is getting dry. And yeah, the slicks are never going to work in these conditions. They're going to get up to temp. Right, Dylan then. First lap on the board. And let's see it. We're not going to have the lap time because there's nothing to compare to. There's yellow there. Magnussen maybe in the McLaren. I think it must be because he's the only one kind of in that sector where the yellow is. Dylan now looking to get through the loop and through Aintree and on to the Wellington Straight. It's a bit squirrely. And now down to Brooklands corner. Has to turn outfit a bit to correct, but he does meet the apex. Now Woodcote, very long corner. Wait to get on the power, try and straight line it. On the run, down then. The old pit straight. That's Woodcote, and now here we go. Cops. And down now into Maggots and Beckett's. And into Chapel. Double down shift I heard there. And on the power now. Sector times. Scenario 7, a couple tenths quicker in the first sector. And a couple tenths quicker in the middle sector. So it's looking good. And then he's set the pace so far, but almost got knocked out in the second part of qualifying. Dylan all over the road. Keeping control of the car. Into the Vale chicane. Can he hook it up? Is he going to be able to get the run to the line that he wants? Probably not his ideal lap. Crosses the line. He does set the fastest final sector as the first one across, but then Scenario 7 beats that. Danny there. We have Harris going into second, right behind Tarantino. Miguel just crossed the line. Wilkinson's into second. He's off the road. He's into the gravel. He's still got into second. And then it will be Mills. No, it's Magnussen first. Actually, Magnussen on his way. Squirreling his way to sixth. Goes into the grass for some reason. It's going to be Mills. Mills now across the line. And he goes onto the front row provisionally. And then how is Ollie getting on here? Ollie in the Williams, looking to see what he can do. His debut for the team. He's modulating that power. 8th place. And then what about his teammate Andre, invalidated on his lap? So that is it for the first run. Let's check if anything's happening because the chat has disappeared for some reason. Yeah. Okay. And I wonder if Andre's not going again because he's in. Yeah, so it looks like we're going for a bit of a one-run plan maybe now. Some people actually field for the session. Alex looks like he's field for the session. And also Magnussen maybe? Magnussen. I mean, I don't know if I'm shaming him here. He's the only one with any assists in this top 10 shootout, I think. Yeah, he's the only one with assists, I think. Traction control medium. So, there we go. Let's have a little look, see if this works. There we go. There we go. So it's the first sector. It really is just the first sector where F1 Scenario 7 made up that difference. Dylan has still got time to find, I'm pretty sure, from what I saw. And Rio as well on those used tyres. I don't know what the conditions are going to be for the race, so I don't know if anyone can tell me. But anyway, I don't know if you need to save tyres or not, but anyway, wet quali is definitely what we want to be seeing. And, well, here we go. We've been forced to watch Mills now, but Let's see what Miguel's up to, because he is actually... So dry start and potential rain later on. Okay, that seems interesting. I'm certainly interested by that. I mean, it's not like the dry is too uninteresting at Silverstone either, but obviously the wet weather can always bring unpredictability. And also, I mean, if it's wet, there's going to be risk of punctures. If it's dry, there's going to be risk of punctures. Unless it's wet for like, you know, less than 10 laps. Because if it's a wet full race, you can just about get a one stop, but it's like you have to manage the tyres severely and you might get a puncture later on. And well then, so Miguel is improving. And Rob is pushing on, but he's actually on his in lap, I think. He's not got fuel, and Miguel as well, deciding to go for the pits. And now I think Mills, he's the only one really doing this strategy, and there we go. He is up on scenario 7 in the first 2 sectors as he looks to make his way down to Vale and Club. And here we go, McLaren on home soil, just misses out on the quickest time. He still remains there. And there we go, Magnushal. Don't think he might be winding up for another lap, to be fair. Let's see. And yeah, let's watch the McLaren, I guess. Is he? No, he's just... He is... This is a build lap now, I think. Because he's got... How many laps of fuel he's got? Got 8.1 kilograms of fuel. So yeah, we can see it's about 4.2 laps, I think, looking at his little screen on the wheel there. And Mills trotting around, but he's going to have to get back to the pits and get new tyres on, because I doubt he's going to be going any quicker with these. And I don't know if there's really time, but we'll have to see. Both McLarens offset here. McLaren looking to get back onto it this season, really. He did sign Bryn Evans as well, who's P2 in the championship, but yeah, he's not here today. Mills just missing out on the quickest time. And you'd think it is going to be getting better and better, the conditions. I mean, we can see there's overcast in the future, but obviously that's way ahead now. But it is showing that it is slightly lightening, but it's not really. Look, 78% in 5 minutes and 79% in 10 minutes. So it's kind of getting a little bit wetter slightly. I mean, it's mainly the conditions are staying the same, I think. But anyway, wet tyres going on for Ollie. For some reason there, he definitely didn't set his best time in the wets, but yeah, there we go. Change back to the Inters. Outlap starting to happen. The 2 Mercedes out there together on the track. Wilkinson looking to see if he can get up there. After I think in the sprint qualifying in Spa, it didn't go too great for him. Reserving for McLaren that time, but the main race he certainly made up for that. Able to win. Safety car came out just right as well to give him track position, and then he was able to build away from Ilias due to some battles with Rio Harris. Yeah, Rio Harris had some battles, I think, and that opened the gap for Wilkinson, and he managed to just push that gap to over 3 seconds. When he did have a 3-second time penalty, I think Mills, this is going to be his last attempt on those very old tyres. You can see he's struggling into Copse. But he is surprisingly going again. I mean, he's not really got a choice. He's got the fuel. He's going to have to make this count now. But can he take provisional pole? And that is going to be the question. If he can, then, well, someone's got to beat it. So you're at least making them work. And he is up on F1 Scenario 7, although it's not a personal best in the middle part of the lap. And now into Stowe. He's really harrying the car. Club. No, Vale, sorry. Vale. Now Club. In just a few seconds' time. He needs to get the power down as soon as he can. He's really pushing it right to the line. And he does take provisional pole by 0.3 of a second. So over to you, Mercedes and Ferrari and Red Bull. What's it going to be? Wilkinson there. Dylan has invalidated. Wilkinson's going to have to be the one. Dylan will not be improving on 5th position. Wilkinson slightly outside of Mills's time. What can F1 Scenario 7 do? He's just about to start his lap. There's a queue at the last corner. There's so many drivers just going down the Hamilton straight now. Are they going to make it? They all make it to the line. I think actually Ollie there. 2, 1. And he just about does make it. Everyone has made it to the line. But my word, that was close. And look at the traffic at Village and the loop and Aintree. It's going to be chaos. Wilkinson in perfect track conditions here. And also Miguel, it seems, at the front of that train. But it's going to be difficult to find the time if you're not in clean air. And Wilkinson now is up on Mills's provisional pole time. Wilkinson, who won at Spa last time out, looking to be in the best possible position to go back-to-back, now driving for his new team. He signed for McLaren, then got booted out of McLaren, got swapped to Mercedes, and can he take pole on his Mercedes debut here? He's going to cross the line, and he just misses out on Mills's time. He lost time in that final sector, and now we look back. What can the championship protagonist Rio Harris do? He is finding time in the first sector. F1 Scenario 7 has found time. He's gone purple in the first. Rio Harris has gone purple in the second sector. F1 Scenario 7's beaten that by a couple tenths. Rio Harris into Stowe, getting up on that power. Cars ahead, crossing the line, but this is what we want to see, the battle for pole position. Alex Mills got that lap in early on those used tyres. And now he's still trying to hold on. Miguel goes up to 4th. Magdashall into 7th. Rio Harris to the line. It's provisional pole for the Ferrari. But F1 Scenario 7's there to get back that pole position and break British hearts who were supporting Rio Harris. But it's F1 Scenario 7. It's also a home pole position for the home crowd. And F1 Scenario 7 has done it at Silverstone. He's on pole. And Rio Harris leading the championship. He's in second. What a race we could have in hand. Let's have a little look here and see. No, that's not going to work. I was trying to see if I could work a replay and not break everything. It did actually. Yeah, but there we go. The track kept ramping up. Alex, though, doing a really good job considering he had about 20% tyres there to harry that car through. And, you know, he almost was there. But anyway, here we go then. British Grand Prix. Ready to go, and I'm excited for this now. And well then, look at the weather. We have dry conditions to start, but obviously we have a report that there might be rain appearing later on, but that is obviously going to be... We don't know, it's approximate weather, I think, so we're just going to have to wait and guess. That's 2 British drivers on the front row of the grid. Harley reporting it saying dry all the way, so punctures could come into play with those dry tyres. Could have to manage them. Yeah, please take the advice, otherwise you might be struggling. Well, it's formation lap time, and I'm pretty sure we're going to get a boring all medium tyres from what I can see from the early indications. Let's just see when the tyres do come in. And then I can see on my other screen that we've got all of medium tyres. Let's just A little wait, they will eventually appear, and there we go. And we can see there's medium tyres throughout, so it's not the most interesting, but medium hard, probably going to be expected, but you know, you can race story first out first. I mean, you'd hope so. He's on the formation lap here. The race hasn't even started yet, but there we go. Harris leading that championship. He's going to be guaranteed to lead as well after this race, but he wants to extend his lead over Bryn Evans because Bryn Evans is now going to be driving the McLaren, so he's going to have a pace advantage. He didn't already when he was driving the Red Bull, and previously, and in the Mercedes probably roughly equal, depending on the circuit. Well, what can the Red Bull here of OS 10 do? Out of position, and well, he needs to recover it. Knocked out in the second part of qualifying. You see possible strategies. The soft tyres are not going to last 11 laps. I'm telling you that. That is some interesting information. But okay, just going through Stowe. Pretty quick formation lap. Now looking to see the drivers line up on that famous Silverstone pit straight, the new pit straight, of course. We'll be going down the old pit straight pretty soon on the first lap. So, everyone lining up, just looking towards the back of the grid with our speed. Looking to recover in the Haas, Emiri as well. And all the talk of the past 2 weeks has been about the team staff changes and the driver swaps. But now all the talking stops, because it's lights out and away we go here at Silverstone. And F1 Scenario 7's got a great start, and Rio Harris being challenged there by Alex going through Abbey. It's Scenario 7 from Mills, then Harris, then Rob in the Mercedes into Village Corner. The McLaren there of Magnuschal seems to have been spun around. We have wheel-to-wheel action here with the Mercedes of Dylan and also Mercedes of Rob here, as now down the Wellington straight we go, and Alex looking to challenge for the race lead on the opening lap. F1 Scenario 7 tries to cover it off, but this is not over yet. We have the run of the old pit straight down to Cobb's Corner. The two Ferraris are close as well. It looks like F1 Scenario 7's got a big enough advantage down into Cobb's. No moves for the race lead. Potential moves here for the Racing Bulls. I think going off there is the Williams of Andre Tarantino. Harley's moved up to about 7th, I think, on the opening lap of the British Grand Prix. Wing damage for Rob, who was potentially involved in contact down there at around Brooklands, I think. Or maybe even before that at Aintree, we saw wheel-to-wheel action. Now, Magnuschal looking to recover places. Hugo as well, getting past Wilkinson. Wilkinson with end plate damage, as you can see, on the opening lap of this race. Amiri's got a 3-second time penalty. And now into Vale wheel-to-wheel action here between, this is the Alpine, I think, of Pablos, and also Mythos Speed. Magnuschal trying to get involved further ahead, trying to make a move, potentially on Hugo. But now we are on lap 2. Wilkinson's in the pits. Hugo looked like something was going on there. And Mythos Speed, Emiri trying to make a move on Donut. Donut trying to fight back. They bang wheels through Aintree, and they bang wheels again down there, down towards Brooklands. And still the battles go on here. Ollie trying to see if he can size up a move for 18th place. Not too many swaps further forwards, a few swaps, but obviously they happened on the opening lap. And F1 Scenario 7 still leads. And just as we cut away from the back of the field, there's contact here between Coyd and Ollie. And literally just as I got away, I think I saw that happen. That was comedic timing there, but there we go. And now we are running down to Stowe for the second time. How is the dirty air going to feel? How is the tyre wear going to be? Because you don't want to be using those tyres too much. You can manage them, you can manage the load, and just try and focus on the corners where you know you can gain your time in the corners where the tyres are not going to wear so much, and try and do it like that. But there we go. And a lot of the DRS train, OS 10 moving ahead a couple of places, and Mills looking to get in the wheel tracks here of scenario 7 early on. And he has got DRS, of course, down the Wellington straight towards Brooklands. He doesn't quite have the straight line speed, though, to contend with the Red Bull on this occasion. And there's no moves just yet. And it doesn't look like there's any moves down the Wellington straight on this lap. Anything down towards Copse. It's difficult, of course, to get alongside going into Copse. Somebody's got to back out as well. Most likely. I mean, obviously you can do it wheel to wheel, but got to have cooperative drivers. Well, there is Ollie just getting out of the pits as well, and he's now down in last position. Coyd as well with damage. Is Ollie's still got damage, or is that the broken update? I will have a little check of that in a moment. Just see down the hangar straight. Nothing really going on. It's difficult to get close with the dirty air. Really, that is the issue. And also you need to have your batteries charged up. And we did see a dive here from Kieran Froome yesterday. That was literally just as I started watching, I think. Yesterday, Froome sent one to the inside of Will Lewis, Division 2. Will Lewis not really wanting to fight that one, though, because of his tyres were really struggling. Well, he was having to contend with quite a lot of tyre wear due to... Yeah, there we go. You can see Ollie has got damage there. He was having to contend with quite a lot of tyre wear because of his strategy, but it did work out in the end, his strategy, really. But unfortunately, I think he'll drop from second to third due to penalty removal. Magnuschal trying to recover some places. And also wheel to wheel, we have Andre and Harley. And it looked like a very aggressive defensive maneuver there. Ollie, they're retiring from the race, and as usual with some retires, I'm going to say that's going to cost them 500k. Here we go, OS 10 potentially trying to have a go at Harley here, down towards Copse. He's all over the curves on the left hand side. He tries to cut back. Harley's not quite opening the door. Senor Ghosts is right there as well, trying to get a move. It's not quite done, and now we're running down the hangar straight again. But it doesn't look like any moves are going to happen in this DRS train. They might be happening here with a move for the Red Bull of OS 10 on Harley. Not quite gaining enough. He tries to go to the outside. He looks to swap. Hugo is dropping a couple of positions. Pablos as well with Mythos speed. Harley goes defensive into Vale, and he's trying to place that Racing Bulls in the perfect position. We have wheel-to-wheel action there with Magnuschal getting past the Aston Martin there of Senor Ghosts as Mythos speed in the background went off there. And yeah, we did see that happen. Mythos speed going off. And now wheel-to-wheel into this. Wheel-to-wheel into the loop. It looks like Magnuschal made contact. Magnuschal there. Whoa, in the background as well. That is the Racing Bulls of Tan and Senor Ghosts making contact in the background there. So that is exactly not what we wanted to see. Let's just see Amiri here, wheel to wheel with Pablos round here. And now trying to get the exit down towards Cobb's corner. And the bit of lag again, and he's going to look to the inside here. And he's going to try and get the move. Pablos on the inside, Amiri goes wide. And they still wheel to wheel. And still. And Amiri is ahead. There. Now let's just quickly see this again. That was Tans and Senor Ghost going off. And now it looks like Magnuschal again, right on the back here, makes contact with Harley. Immediately we cut back and we see that action as he goes down the inside. That was a really daring late lunge, and he's trying everything to get by. here on the Racing Bulls, and he's trying all the daring maneuvers. And still now, down towards Village we go. And he's going to go for a late send to the inside, and there's contact. And Magdashal, don't think that was ever going to work there. Has he tried the late lunge? He made contact before at Stowe on the previous lap. And now he's made contact there again. And that was just not going to work there. Late send to the inside. And yeah, that was just not going to work. Now, that was his late send to the inside there. And yeah, that just didn't work, did it? And now we still have some action through Luffield. And again, it's a great exit here for an Alpine car. It's Coy's potentially looking for it, but all the battles seem to be happening here as both Alpines go wide. And that might allow Amiri to get stuck in. He doesn't want to risk it too much. And he backs off. And he tries to get all over the curves to get an exit, but that is not... I think that kind of killed his momentum a bit. We might see Magdashal here looking up the inside. Donut kind of opens the way there. I think that makes sense considering what we've seen from Magdashal before. And Donut sensibly just kind of sits in there and is in 11th now. Magdashal getting ahead of him. Magdashal trying to recover some places from that opening lap incident we saw. Tyre wear extreme already, 40%, 40% for some people. This is a race about management, and it's going to have to be key. I think it was about 18, 19 laps, the longest stint we saw on the hards yesterday, but they were like over 80% in the end, so you are risking a puncture. Best tyre managers so far, Danny, probably the best on the grid of those who haven't pitted. Of course, those at the back have already pitted. Or Wilkinson, I mean. Wilkinson's pitted. Mythos Speed hasn't pitted. No. So there we are. Danny is doing a good job with his tyres. He can't really get close enough for an overtake. Round the outside here with Tans on Hugo. And he does get the place down the old pit straight. And he is ahead now of the Sauber. So just going around the outside there. Lovely stuff. Getting a good exit, and he's now ahead. So, Amiri now, I think, actually. Once again, all over the back here of the Alpine. Has to try and cover these places. Amiri with no wing damage. Cars ahead do have wing damage, and also Mythos Speed has wing damage. So, you'd think Amiri can get back. And, yeah. He dives into the pits, actually. So... don't quite know. He has 6 seconds of penalties. But that is an interesting one. Here we go, scenario 7. He's not really been challenged yet. Amiri, he's switching to a 2-stop. Is he retiring? It looks like there something has happened to the Sauber, which I can't seem to get to. It is Donut here, who's spinning up the rear tyres. And Donut, something has happened there. Down through Abbey, really down towards Village. And that tyres, they're not too bad. I mean, Alex is really harrying his tyres. He is going to be struggling towards the end of this race, I think. He's already got 60% now, front left. So, front left, the killer. All these right-hand corners and long corners. Corners like Copse, corners like Luffield, Maggots and Beckett's, Stowe. They're all corners where that load is on that front left. You've got to take care. And now he does decide to dive into the pit lane, and that's probably a sensible thing, to be fair. And well, you can't finish the race at the pits. We have disallowed that, but I don't think it's quicker in the dry anyway. Unless as you're avoiding a crash, saying Magdashal all over the track limits there. It looks like Donut again is stopped there after Chapel. Don't quite know what's going on to him, but anyway, now scenario 7's got the break because obviously Mills pitting, so this might trigger a bit of an effect because we're already got to get a move on because scenario 7's kind of disappearing off now, and if Mills can't make it, yeah, then that is going to be Harley trying to get the power down. And Magnuschal's right there. Magnuschal and Harley. Magnuschal's caught up again. And he's going to look to get by down the Welling Straight into Brooklands. Moves back across. It is weaving all over the road. And well, he is now. There as Donut does retire in the pits. And Harley might be trying to get this place back. I don't think he's going to be close enough there. He might actually have the ERS though, actually. Down towards Cops. He's not going to risk it though. He's definitely not going to risk it there. And now we will have a little look just to see that move down the street. That seemed weird action there, as I think something's happened there. Harris is now pitting, and well then, don't speed, gets it slowed down, and Andy there gets a track limit. I should probably just put the penalties on actually, because there's not that many to be fair. Silverstone, you just expect penalties really. Corners like Stowe, corners like Cops, and Ghosts wheel to wheel here with Hugo. And Hugo's not giving up on this just yet. He's got the inside line, the kick Sauber. He's going to force Ghost to take a slightly wider line. Ghost is going to try and hang this out. He goes into the gravel there. But then, was that an illegal overtake there maybe from the Sauber? Because then he gives the place back. And then it looks like Coyd is trying to get a move. He got tapped in the back there, I think. It looked like Coyd got tapped in the back there from maybe the McLaren of Mills. That seemed particularly strange, but yeah, now we have wheel-to-wheel down the straight. And Mills trying to get through the traffic. This is going to be costing a bit of time. Harris is going to be on the scene quite soon as well. And as Trixie said in the chat, this might be too early to box, but if they're going to get a puncture, I mean, you've kind of got to just push the first stint as long as you can, because the second stint's always more difficult, it seems, to manage the tyres, because you're trying to actually gain place at the end of the race. Harris, he should be on a one-stop, I think, honestly. I don't think he should be going on much longer. Anyway, this was this wheel-to-wheel into Club Corner. And then, did he think he pushed him off so then he gave the place back or something? That's probably what happened there, to be honest. But anyway, wheel to wheel now, Harris getting involved, the championship leader not wanting to get into a tussle, but wheel to wheel right ahead here. And the Sauber's right there trying to pit, and Harris now goes to the outside. He's going to be late on the race, then he'll go to sped in the pits, and Harris has got ahead of the Alpine of Coyd. Magnuschal's in the pits, Hugo's in the pits of course, and Harris starting to make his move back. And that seemed like the Alpine made the way there. He didn't really have the capacity to brake as much as the Ferrari. And well, in the end, that is what happened. So scenario 7, comfortably leading this race. And well, he's gaining on Danny Zwart by quite a lot. I mean, it's his to lose at this point, you'd think, but obviously where is Mills going to come out into this? Mills not able to manage the tyres on the first stint, had to pit a lot earlier, and he might be forced onto a 2-stop, honestly, because he's pitted really early. Let's just see. This is a pit window, apparently, for scenario 7, but he can keep going. I mean, yeah, just keep going until you get to about 80%, surely 75-80%, because then you're going to make the second stint that much easier. And Dylan now coming into the pits. Let's just check on his tyre wear. He really had to slow down there for the pits. 74. Look at how much he's worn that left front, like, compared to the others. We see, you know, he's really pushed it with scenario 7, as much as his left rear's kind of quite similar, so it's interesting to see the difference in setups as well. And no rain is forecast, I don't think, in the near future. There's potential rain, but with the approximate forecast, I think that's just the approximate forecast saying there might be rain, but I don't think there is. Anyway, action in the pits. Harris now up into 4th. Everything's kind of split. People are having their own race now, and Magnuschal once again is trying to gain on Harley. And what are they going to do a battle again? These two seem to be quite fierce rivals, and he's going to look for a dive again here at Village. And Harley just about leaves the space. Oof, he almost looked for the inside move there. Pablos retires in the pits. Good exit now from Magnus Strauss. Should get that place. Wheel to wheel down the straight. Harley, though, with more ERS, it seems. And Harley able to gain, but Magnus Strauss going to dive up the inside. And Harley's just going to kind of let that happen. And they're going to go ahead and keep doing their current position. So it looked like Magnus Strauss was outpaced, but then he did make the dive at Brooklands, and that was the position. And now here we go, scenario 7 in the pits. Danny Zvart in the pit, no speeding in the pits from scenario 7, and perfectly back out then. And he is, where is he going to be in comparison to Mills? Mills on the Hamilton straight right now towards Abbey, and he will be ahead, but look at his tyre wear. 20% left front. That is not going to make the end of the race, I do not think. Harris here, it's going to be close to scenario 7, and I think he's going to maintain DRS. That is crucial. Here Harris is going to be within DRS of scenario 7, but he's got a lot worse tyres, so he's really got to manage this now till the end of the race. He's just got to, yeah, if it means he's got to drop pace a bit, he's going to have to do that. Otherwise, it's going to be difficult to make the end of the race. And now it looks like Hugo and Amiri are quite close. Magnus Strauss has been able to drop Harley in this race. Let's just have a little look through all the little things we can. Everyone's made one pit stop at this point. That's the tyre age. So Wilkinson on that alternate strategy because of the lap 1 damage which he picked up. Sure, it might be reported. And, well, yeah, that is the situation, as scenario 7 now in second place. And this is going to be quite interesting to see how it plays out, because we've got Harris and Zvart there. Zvart with a lot better tyres than Harris, so Zvart is in a decent position, to be fair. He's not got anyone to really be bothered with, and he is, yeah, he is doing well. Dylan's a couple seconds back, and then Harris ahead. I mean, you want to have DRS, of course, but if you can manage his tyres nicely here, then that will be good. Amiri looking for a move potentially on Hugo. Amiri on his return to RFC. And it seems to be that a lot of moves we've seen are actually down here into Village, but he's not quite close enough. But then Hugo goes a bit wide, and he'll look to set the run now. He can get the power down. Traction control certainly helped him with that one, I think. It looked like anyway, because he just floored the throttle, and now he is going to try and go wheel to wheel into Brooklands, and he is going to pull ahead, but Hugo is going to get back past going into Luffield because of Amiri's line there. Hugo setting it up well, maintaining the place. Ithel Speed just having to watch this on for the time being, because Amiri is still not able to get by, and Hugo putting up a resilient defence. And that was when Hugo got back past him. It was kind of a couple of seconds after, but yeah, that was, yeah, it was a good real setup there by Hugo. Amiri not really with the pace there. Yellow flag for something. It's Ghosts. Ghosts has had something happen to him, and so he seems lost it out of Chapel. Now going down the Hangar Straight, and he got the penalty for speeding in the pits as well. Wilkinson now will be pitting to go to the end of the race. What tyres has he got? Should be the hard tyres now, actually, because we should have more tyres because of the wet in qualifying as well. And Ghosts now retiring in the pits. So Mills on his way. And let's just see the lap times. He's definitely going for a 2-stop here, though, because look at how much he's pushing. He's just decided he can't manage the tyres, or he just doesn't want to manage them, and well, he's certainly going to be making another stop. And what tyres is he going to be on to? Mediums or hards? You'd think another set of hards would be the best you know, the best thing to do, but has he got those tyres? Obviously, he's used 2 compounds now, so it doesn't matter what compound he goes on to in terms of the legality of reaching the end. And the yellow flag still out there, that's just Ghost's car going back out because it's Billy again. Magnashai, except 3 seconds there. ERS levels. That's the fastest lap from Vero Harris as well. She just right on board. And well, he's doing well to keep up. Quite a lot more tyre wear though. I can see on my other screen his tyre wear is in the yellow, like kind of colour, and then everyone else is kind of behind him is in a green colour, so you can clearly see. I should probably get something that like compares the tyre wear of like a few cars at once, just so you can see. But there we go. That is his tyre wear. We'll just have a little look at his teammate's tyre wear, and there we go. He's managing it, and he's actually getting away from Dylan in the last few laps. So the DRS train's completely broken up after that early kind of train that we had. And there we go, we can see Wilkinson's 50 seconds off the lead. He's going to the end of the race now, so what can he pick up? I mean, you'd think he can catch up to that train with Hugo, and then can he reach the gap as well? There's going to be punctures if people don't make a second stop who are at risk. OS 10, DRS range. Scenario 7 now eating into Mills' lead as well. Purple sector gained a couple of tenths in sector 2, a couple of tenths in sector 1 on this latest lap. OS 10 I don't think is going to be close enough, but Tarantino's flashing. He doesn't have ERS remaining. It looks like something's happened to Wilkinson there at Lovefield. Wilkinson has lost time, and now he's running about 18 seconds behind the next car. 16. You know, changed to on my other screen, it says 18, but there we go. Wilkinson literally just pitting about a lap ago, and he's made a mistake, I think, at Lovefield. And it's not going to be a happy race for him, I don't think. I mean, you know, there is the opportunity of a safety car. Harris being dropped out of DRS from scenario 7, who's really pushing on now to get away. He's also gaining a lot on Mills, who seems to be struggling now on those used hard compound tyres. Scenario 7 more ERS as well than Harris. We'll do a quick little ERS check as well for the 2 leaders. And you can see Mills there once again grappling with the car, and that's not going to be maintaining his tyres. And, well, for some reason Scenario 7 has got fastest lap on there, but actually I think Harris has the fastest lap. Yeah, I don't know. It's receiving the telemetry that he has got it. But anyway, you might set a fastest lap now on this lap, to be fair. Cross the line. No, lost time in the last sector. Was almost missed out on setting his best lap by 41 thousandths, so it's not bad. And OS 10 is still there, not quite able to. Now this is Mythos speed, ERS down towards Stowe on Hugo. This kind of train outside the point still going on, and it's like a train that's not really going places right now. And it looks like Coyd is just sneaking up the inside there. I thought Mythos was opening up some space, because obviously the Alpine came out of nowhere and tried to take that place. And well, he has taken that place, and he's now up another position in the race. We just saw him up the inside there. He's up into 13th. Bit of contact, and the Alpine is ahead of the Haas now. But there we go. So Miri's in the pits, so I don't quite know what's happened to him. He's going for the 2-stop, I think. Actually, I do remember calling that out, that might be happening. Scenario 7 on his way, and potentially try and set a fastest lap. He's caught up now to Mills. Mills is probably going to be pitting, you'd think, because if he's going to try and hang this out, it's probably going to end terribly. And if he is on the 2-stop, you want to have the full advantage of the 2-stop by, you know, doing a number of laps on some fresh tyres. You don't want to be having to bail in at the last second when you think you're going to get a puncture. and then you kind of lose the time to actually, well, you lose the laps to gain the time back. But anyway, let's have a little look at the tyres again, because 53, you know, that is going to be, if he's 5.3% per lap, if you divide that, you know, that's not going to be good in about 4 laps time, 4 or 5 laps. He'll be in puncture territory mainly. There's contact, I think, down at Stowe, Hugo involved, Coyd as well. There was certainly a yellow flag deployed for the pair of them. No damage. Coyd has some sort of damage, I think. Let's actually have a quick little... Yep, Coyd there with some damage, but now we might see a change for the lead. The Scenario 7's managed as well. He's got so much better tyres than Alex Mills. And now it's only a matter of a few corners now through Chapel. Trying to get a clean exit is not quite ideal, but he's going to get the slipstream and DRS. Don't think he's close enough on this occasion. Mills will hold on for another lap. Will Mills be diving to the pits anyway? Magnus Schall there picking up 6 track limit warnings. And now Scenario 7 is still there, as it looks like Magnus Schall has gone off at Copse and he's lost places to the 2 Racing Bulls cars. But we'll quickly change back, because the battle for the lead is still going to be happening pretty soon, because Scenario 7 is sizing it up and is looking to get by any moment now. You can see him taking that wider line to set the run down this Wellington straight through Aintree. Power from the Red Bull against the McLaren. Mills just about leaving the space. Scenario 7 soars round the outside. Mills doesn't give it up, but Scenario 7 does take back the lead of the British Grand Prix here at Silverstone. And the Red Bull, after making his later pit stop, has been able to get the lead back over the McLaren. And now what will Mills do? Because Mills is obviously, he needs to nurse this car to the end. If he is not pitting again, he is really going to need to nurse that car. Because, yeah, look at his tyre wear. 60% now. Yeah, it is not going to work. So he's got to pit, I think. I don't think it's going to work at all. Let's see, though. 2 Ferraris are going to be in play, because Harris has a lot better tyres than Mills, even though he pitted a couple of laps before. I think, wait, are they? I think they're 1 lap difference in tyres, but Mills' tyres are about 12% worse. So that does show that Mills has really been like aggressive with his inputs. Magnus Schall once again getting involved in the battles, and he once again runs wide. Let's have a little look at the warnings. Quite a lot of 0 warnings there. What was that line into the Weber chicane? He goes over to the side, and I don't know. Yeah, exclamation mark driver standings. I did not have time to set that up, unfortunately. I'll get it working for next time. The intro had to be prioritised, unfortunately. Oh, he's right over the curbs again. I don't get what he's doing. And he's really making hard use of that McLaren. He's making it look difficult. But there we are. Mills is still within DRS here of F1 Scenario 7. So it's not done yet. But obviously Mills is going to be dropping off. If he's pushing this hard to stay within, then that's not going to be doing his tyres any good either. So I don't really get it. Zvart now has caught up to Harris. Maybe they can work together a bit, the 2 Ferraris, because yeah, Zvart's been a lot quicker the last few laps. And he's got a lot better tyres here, and you'd think they might be doing some DRS swaps. He's kind of doing a little bit of a jolt on the straight. I don't know if he's trying to, you know, say to Rio that, you know, let's work together. I don't know if they are speaking to each other during the race, but, well, look at this. Mills is still here, and he might yet pull a lunge on the Red Bull. And that is definitely not what the Red Bull team want to be seeing. The 2 Ferraris are now close. And here we go. No real ERS for Danny. Harris is going to force him a long way around, and they do go wheel to wheel, and they do make contact into Brooklands and now into Luffield. Is there a gap opening up here for Danny's Vart? Are they really going to risk it down towards Copse here? He's certainly in the slipstream, and Harris is going to defend the inside, and Danny looking to go around the outside, then cuts back, and he's not quite able to get it there. But now, can he get it down towards Maggots and Beckett's? Harris putting up a defence against his teammate here, and that is not going to be pleasing him, his new teammate that he just got, basically in the last race. And now Danny might be looking for a move here around the outside at Stowe, and the Ferraris still do battle down towards Vale. They're costing themselves so much time. Harris sorts back to the inside. Danny's going to have to go the long way round, and Harris is still in that podium place, but now you think Danny's always pushing Harris through the corner. Harris goes defensive into Abbey corner, and Danny's gonna have to go the long way round through there. Harris gives him the space, and Danny does get back ahead, but Harris then sends it up the inside into Village, and now Danny's almost off the track. He's got the inside line into loop. Harris cuts back through the loop and onto Aintree, and Harris is back into the podium places, but now Danny has DRS and Harris is pushing him all the way to the inside. But I think Danny should be able to break later on the inside line, and I think he has finally got that place, and that has cost both Ferraris a number of seconds there. And Harris not wanting to let his teammate go, and Danny eventually getting by, but now Harris with more ERS might even have another look down into through Maggots and Beckett's and then down into Stowe, and Danny trying to get by with the fresher tyres, and now Harris is still there. Mills has now dropped away. Mills's tyres really are finished, and Harris now trying to stick with his teammate, but let's actually see, because I think the Sauber there of Hugo, something's happened to him. I think he might have spun it even more. No, he's just... I thought something might have happened there. Let's just have a little check in tyres. 76 puncture territory incoming. And now they're going to have to work to catch, because, yeah, the two Ferraris, they've just cost themselves a number of seconds. Let's just have a little look. There, Mills gained a second there. I mean, the lap time loss was on the previous lap as well, and Harris is still giving it everything to try and get past his teammate. And the two Ferraris, what a battle that was, but it did cost them so much time. It's peculiar. And Danny has got much better tyres. 64 Harris left front, Danny 47 left front. So Danny's obviously going to be quicker here. Harris needs to watch the puncture territory. And let's see what Mills is doing. 77 now. But he's got a gap now. He could really just back up by a couple of seconds a lap on his pace and probably be able to manage this. Because, you know, you've got to manage it. Otherwise, he's going to keep spiraling out of control. If he's getting 5% per lap, it's going to be dangerous. Anyway, Ruger's retired in the pits. This is a battle here for 12th place, and Coyd has got that over Mythos Speed, who does seem to have some kind of wing damage on his car. And yeah, he just was able to get that move, and yeah, that was pretty easy in the end. And I think they're even potentially following down towards Copse. There is another yellow. That's just retirements in the pits again. And well then, Mills is backing up. He is slowing down. He is trying to manage this. He has 2 laps to go to get this to the end in second place, but Danny gained about a second and a half on the previous lap. So this is not done yet. Mills obviously is going to be at risk of a puncture if he's not careful. And Danny, if that Ferraris didn't have that battle, they'd be right with Mills right now. I guarantee it. But they could still yet get second and third in this race as long as they just behave, they follow each other through, and they let Mills dare himself and see what he can do. Scenario 7. We've barely talked about him. He's just been cruising out front. Mills is Yeah, Mills is really just lifting off into these corners. Got a lap and a sector to go. And Harris is still there. ERS levels practically non-existent between these two. Recharging now, it seems. And Mills now heading to the last lap with scenario 7. Wilkinson is pitting, potentially to get a fastest lap in the race, but that's not going to work, is it? Because he's lapped now, and we're on the last lap, so it's not going to work at all, is it? Emir is lapped down as well, further behind, but scenario 7's not being headed. And Mills, we can see the Ferraris right there in the background. They are looming. It's 2 seconds, the gap between Mills and Zwart in this battle for the final couple of spots on the podium. And yeah, I keep saying, if they didn't have that battle, they would have got the McLaren. The McLaren, who's trying to nurse this car home. 82% tyres. He's managed to stop the flow of tyre wear which he had before. Wilkinson's trying to unlap himself on the race leader. And Mills looks like he's almost home for second. But out in front, it is F1 Scenario 7 who got that pole position in the end in that qualifying session and in the race. No one's been able to match him in terms of tyre management and just overall pace. And it's going to be Red Bull back to the top step of the podium here at Silverstone. F1 Scenario 7 wins the British Grand Prix. And it does look like the Ferraris have swapped around on the final lap of the race. Mills is going to bring that home in second. The Ferraris did battle. And Harris does get the podium, or maybe Danny let him go. I don't entirely know what happened there. But anyway, Mills manages to bring that home with 84% on his tyres. And wow, what a job he did in those last few laps to manage that and not get a puncture. Andre there, or Dylan in 5th, Miguel 6th. And then it is OS 10 taking 7th, Andre Tarantino in 8th. And then we have Tans here in 9th. Magnushal is going to drop the position to Harley. Double Racing Bulls in the points. F1 Scenario 7 wins the race. And he missed out in Imola. He has not missed out today. And well done to him. Wilkinson did unlap himself. And actually, because he unlapped himself, he's going for that fastest lap. So let's actually have a little look, because we may as well. He's up. Obviously, he's up. And well, this is the last action that we're going to see. So let's see. Wilkinson trying to steal that point away from Scenario 7. I mean, it's not even a point. He's just trying to get the money for the team, I think. He's crossed the line, and I think it was the fastest lap. It hasn't updated yet, but I think he did grab that fastest lap. He must have done. It's not even a point, obviously, because it's 2025, but he does get money for the team. So, well, there we go. That's the race. And, well, not too much drama in the end. Obviously, the Ferrari battle. Mills bringing that home with that strategy. Don't know what they were doing, really. But anyway, yeah, he did get the fast lap, 28.1, 9/10 quicker than Scenario 7. So he does get that extra money for the team. He doesn't steal any points, though. Race director, Magnushal, probably the most common person on that list. It stops. Well, that's a perfect race from Scenario 7. And what will it be offered up next when we go to Monza? And Bryn Evans might be back.